What's the first thing that pops in your mind when I say a girl?
Pink.
Strong. A girl, a young female child.
Daughters.
When I hear girl, the first thing I think of is young children, and when I think of girl, the first thing I actually think of is probably like long hair, and a girl might be like dresses.
I think I would say, well, I'm also reading a book about the unfairness, so I would probably say sexism.
Pink, flowers.
Probably just cute, plain.
Girl, probably just feminine, just soft.
When I hear girl, I just think of me, and I also think of power. Girl? I pictured someone running. I don't really know why.
I guess I think of a lot of stereotypes, or I think of what it would be, how that question would be like answered differently if you had asked a boy, right? So when I think of the word girl, I think of myself, I think of all my friends, I think of athletes and the like examples they set, like girl athletes.
Girl? Probably my niece. She's little.
When you say girl. Oh, it's so bad, but I think of a Barbie.
Longer hair, like smaller figure, the traditional, unfortunately, the traditional society's picture.
Strong. What about a boy?
Blue.
What is the first thing that pops into your mind when I say boy?
Boy, math.
Also strong.
Young male child.
Boys probably shorter hair. Guys might be like a shorts and a t-shirt or something.
I just think of like the boys in my school, and I think of like, I don't really have like I don't know, I just think of boy. I don't know. I'm just gonna
Me?
Not as many stereotypes, as I don't think there's as many women.
For guys, I think of like sports, video games, short hair, and muscular, I guess.
Baseball.
Like rough and tumble, sort of, masculinity.
I don't know, like little hero action figures, whatever that is.
Strong.
And this might be biased because I am one. I don't know if I have as much of a picture when I picture a guy,
Kind of just like the stereotypical image of like males, I guess, like being really tough and muscular. But then like if
And truck, very defensive.
yeah, and like not very emotional, I guess. But then I know that doesn't really apply to everyone. So if I think more about it, then definitely more things come to mind.
What traits define a girl and what traits define a boy?
Well, that's not really, I'm pretty relaxed about all that kind of stuff. I guess it'd be kind of just, it comes down to what you want to be and what you call yourself.
I think the same traits that define a girl, just having the mindset.
Boy.
I don't feel like there are no traits that define either. There are traditional traits that are placed on men and women. Men are supposed to be less sensitive and more like and women are supposed to be like listen and
don't talk, but I think that's BS. That's all bullshit. You can be whatever the fuck you want.
It doesn't really matter. It has to do with like mindsets. Because if you're born a guy, you can say that you're a girl, and vice versa. So it just has to do with like what you think, in my opinion.
I don't think any traits need to define a girl or a boy. It doesn't pop in my head. Like, I think that in our generation now, like, you can be a boy who cries a lot, or you can be a girl who like is strong and tough. Like, I don't really have any traits that I define. Like, it's just what gender you like identify as, I guess.
It depends on like what they feel about it. Because like now there's people who come out as transgender, which I guess wasn't happening so much in the past. So that's a cool thing. People can kind of like choose what parts of, I guess, stereotypical like girly things they want, and like what parts of boyish things they want to do. And it's really just on what they like and what they feel is personal to them and how they want to express themselves.
In my opinion, I don't think that there's like a set thing that defines either gender. Like, there shouldn't be societal standards based on gender.
I think there aren't any specific ones. I think people are just people and they are the way they are.
I agree with that. I feel like it's just how the person identifies, but I feel like society is more of what you look on the outside.
Yeah, media might assign athleticism to like guys and like girls. I don't know, but I don't know. I think we're slowly progressing towards not thinking like that.
So I don't really think there's traits that define either. I think it's very dependent on the individual person. So like, for example, I know traits that define me would be like hardworking, something like that, but then that can be transferred to another boy who has the same equally.
Well, I don't think there's any exact thing that defines what a girl is or what a boy is. I think if you identify as a girl, then you're a girl. You don't have to do anything to be like a valid girl. You just are already to exist. And if you're a boy, then you're a boy because you are. You identify as one, so you are one. I don't think there's anything that makes you like a boy or makes you a girl. It's just that you are. You are.
When you were growing up, did you ever have any society pressure telling you to do certain things?
I guess. Now I think about it, all the girls when I was in elementary school did gymnastics and all the guys played soccer. And it was kind of an unspoken rule that girls had to do gymnastics. And so I did gymnastics.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I wanted to play soccer, so I kind of felt, why couldn't I play soccer?
I would definitely say it's societal pressure, for sure, but not familial pressure.
I guess so. I feel like growing up as a little girl, you're always like pink and butterflies and ballet and princesses. Where if you're a boy, it's like sports, color blue.
I even heard like phrases coming from my dad, like sit like a lady, which is like his legs crossed with like crisscross applesauce or something. So.
Personally, I did not. My family and parents are pretty open to almost everything, so luckily I was just able to be myself and just hang out with who I wanted to, wear what I wanted to, and just like act the way that I wanted to. But that may not be the case for everyone.
Absolutely. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like I wasn't special the way that I was. I was supposed to be something else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm gay, so like before I came out, I was basically like, society thinks that gay is a sin, you're gonna go to hell, and like it's not natural. And even though there's like a lot of people that like may accept you and stuff like that, there's still always like society putting labels on gay people or LGBT people, just putting pressure on us, like sending us to like terrible things like camps to convert us from gay to straight. So like I definitely felt a lot of pressure before I came out. So like that's why I was like really scared to come out. So because like I was always afraid of what society could possibly think of me.
Yeah, I have sometimes. It's because there's people that would say weird things about how I dressed or how other people dressed and just how people acted. I thought it was ridiculous. It was more like middle school.
In some ways, yes, but I also, my mom, like I wanted a Barbie or I wanted a doll, and my mom was like, no, you can't have a Barbie. So my mom, like, in a way it was reversed for me. She wouldn't let me play with certain things.
Yeah, a lot of times my mom said that I was like the man of the house, so I had to do all like the heavy lifting and stuff like that, because that's what men were portrayed to do, to be masculine and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons. It felt a little bit unfair because I thought that women could do just as much as guys can, and I brought it up with my mom, but my mom doesn't disagree because she's very traditional.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if you're a girl especially, there's a lot of pressure for you to like be really pretty and like really girly. So that, and I feel like a lot of it comes from the place where you're supposed to be like pretty enough or girly enough that boys will like you, and you need to get like this verification that you're good enough.
Absolutely.
How did that make you feel?
Just pressured.
I didn't really, but I just think that's because of more the way I was brought up. Like, I could do whatever, like, it didn't matter if I wanted Barbies or Legos or anything like that. Like, it was just really open, but there is definitely, like, a pressure to like certain things or act a certain way.
I think I definitely felt sort of like a societal pressure just to be more like quieter and like just go with the flow more. Just be like, oh, okay, sure, I don't really want to do that, but yes, I'll do that just to make people happy. I felt annoyed, but then again, because it was like, I don't think you really see those pressures in society. Like, they're just kind of there, but a lot of times in young age, like middle school and elementary school, I'm not going to be like reflecting at that age. So thinking back, of course I'm annoyed and frustrated that it was in that way and that I had to like learn how to be myself because of other people's pressures. But then again, it's like it was a learning experience, so I can't be too annoyed because everyone needs to figure it out for themselves.
I was kind of pressured into like ballet. I didn't like ballet, but I don't like to blame society, so I can't really blame them for pressuring me as much as I can for allowing them.
Yes, I still do, but I've worked really hard to like train myself to not let it get to me as much, but totally, yes, everything, a single thing, everything in the media, all of the stuff gets in your head, and it's so crazy that there's so much of that in something that is such a big like source of information in our world. Like media like shows us what is like deemed like acceptable and normal and like good, and so there's so many things in that, like in the media, that are so bad. It's like, so we can't do this, or if we're this, then we can't be whatever. But yeah, there's so many things in my head that I've like unconsciously like taken in and maybe pulled me back and things.
So how did that make you feel?
Shitty, because we think I've done bad on like tests, or like done bad on something, and I've like actually considered like thinking about like, is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm like Latina? Like I think about all these things and how there's all these stereotypes, and I've like taken time to actually think about them, but then even thinking about them and like having them in my head like makes me like not believe it, but like just having that in your head, because it's like a limit on you, and you're like, is this actually like, is there something wrong with me? Is this holding me back? Yeah. So it's made me feel like less sometimes.
But as a guy, I always felt pressure to do sports, and like I did baseball. I wanted to try football. I did all this stuff, and I didn't enjoy it, but it was all shitty. I didn't like. I remember the one big memory from like 3rd grade was we went on a field trip, and I laid my head on my friend's shoulder, and then immediately got made fun of because that was something that only girls are supposed to do. And it kind of sucked because I wanted to do that, you know, like lying your head on someone's shoulder, oh no.
As a child or even now, have you ever drifted off from an activity that made you feel happy because of what others thought or said about you?
Yeah. Probably. Last year I almost joined wrestling, and then I don't know, I felt really weird because all the guys were treating me and like this other person who were like, what's it called? Trying out, I guess. Like made us feel weird, and they like wouldn't participate with us because we were not male, and so we just kind of gave up after that. I don't think it was particularly their fault. It was probably just the pressure of being out.
No, not me personally. I can't really think of anything that I would rather do that I wouldn't do by myself, because honestly for me I try not to think about what other people think of me, so I just be myself and do whatever I want.
Not really. I've mostly just tried to like be myself no matter what, I guess. Do what makes me happy.
That has happened before, but right now I'm doing everything I want. I do everything I want.
I'd have to say it was the opposite for me. I stayed with an activity that didn't make me happy. Like I said, a lot of sports, a lot of other things. I didn't really want to do them, but I did them. I've done a bunch of sports, but I think one of them I stuck with for like a year just because I thought that I should. And you know, it was because I felt the need to like fit in and stuff, and then I kind of finally realized, okay, I gotta do what makes me happy.
Yeah, I guess so. I used to play piano, but then at summer camp some guys kind of made some mean comments about some songs that I wrote, and then it really hurt my feelings, and soon after then I started to drift off from piano.
I don't think so. I had some really supportive people in my life, so like a lot of the stuff that I liked that may have been considered like quote-unquote girly, like my parents and stuff didn't give me like a hard time about that. Like if I wanted to do you know, like crocheting or knitting or something, they'd be like, cool, like show us what you got. So it wasn't like boys don't do that sort of thing.
You know, for a period of time, yes.
No, not necessarily. If anything, I've become more open-minded and embraced whatever I feel instead of worrying about what society has to say.
Why do you think society puts so much expectations on young girls and boys to have certain ways?
I think because they've created a system that works very smoothly when each gender acts a certain way. And sometimes when we act outside of those roles, we can kind of make waves, and they want the system to stay the way that it is.
Do you ever think that this will change?
Absolutely.
Different? Well, I feel at a time there's a predisposition to the fact that like historically women would play different roles. All the time.
Well, yeah, because they're like,
they'd have different roles in society.
yeah, they're two different
able to
things.
do.
Like you can't like, I mean, you can put them together. I mean, like I know there's all that stuff going on, but I'm just saying that there's some people that I don't know.
Well, I think society is really preoccupied with labeling things. You know, organization and stuff, and having people who don't necessarily, I shouldn't even say that, a lot of people can accept that those boxes and those ways to organize people and label people, I suppose, are changing. So definitely tradition is really rooted in how society views gender.
I
I think it is changing. I think it's in the process of changing, and that change is happening slowly. I hope we get to a point where it's just kind of the full gender spectrum and how people both identify and present are totally acceptable to everybody, because why not?
I think the society is like stuck in the past and wants to keep their traditional ways, I guess. Honestly, it's pretty sad how the society is putting pressure on young men and women that are growing up, and that I think that they should feel free to express themselves and be who they are, and that like you are who you are, and that you shouldn't change for like what people are saying about you. I mean, I hope it will change. I think that we still have a lot of work to do in changing the society, because honestly it's happening all over the world. In the United States it is pretty bad in some places, but we do have it good compared to a lot of the world.
Just what society is used to doing. All we ever do is stereotype people. So it wants girls to be stereotyped because they're another thing that can be stereotyped.
Religion plays a huge role in it, and like cultural expectations, like coming from an Asian family, they expect you to marry another Asian partner, opposite gender, and like have kids, so you're a grandparent, so you can lead on the family name and stuff like that. And so you can definitely feel the pressure on you when it comes to that kind of situation.
I don't actually know. I feel like it's just something that started where like the men wanted to feel more powerful, and then there started to be all these labels that like for men the traits they were supposed to have were like power and dominance and strength, and then the women had to be like the gatherers, and they had to be small and delicate and pure. Like in the 1800s, I know that girls were seen as way less than men than they are now. Like the suffragettes in England, they fought for voting rights because they didn't even have that, and you couldn't get a job that paid as well as a man's. Like you would do the same job or work more and you would still get paid less. And even though like equal pay is still a problem now, I feel like there's definitely been a lot of progress like in voting rights, and there continues to be progress in equality, and I would hope that that just continues as time goes on.
We just need to change our ways, but that's not going to happen. As far as media goes, like everything's getting worse. They're producing more of those like demeaning, I don't know, just demeaning pictures, images, messages to girls, and all the girls are taking it in now at younger ages. So I think it's just going to get worse from there.
I mean, it's changing slowly already, but there's, I remember my mom saying, it's like, well, she couldn't have gone to Harvard because it was a boys-only school. That's changed. I went to, I remember like the private high schools, most of those used to be gendered and they aren't anymore. So there's more opportunities there. But on the other hand, I look at what's happening in toys, and Legos used to be not gendered at all, and now there's the princess Legos and the cars and machines Legos marketed to boys.
Well, I think in the past people were very closed-minded, and in a lot of cultures, like it's very specific, like how people should be. And now it's a lot better, and there's a lot more, I can't think of the word, like it's way more flexible. But I think in the past, like people were very set on like the right and the wrong. But I'm not like sure where that came from. Maybe religion or something like that.
I think like the ads that people are putting out.
Definitely.
like in English we are like, I'm in like IB junior English, and we like are talking and studying about like gender roles and like how they like portray what a man should be and what a woman should be. Like there's this ad that I did a presentation on, and it was like about littering. It was an anti-littering campaign, and like it was a picture of a girl littering, and it goes, "This isn't pretty," and then it's a picture of a guy littering, and it's, "This isn't smart," and it's like, well, should a woman really want to be pretty, and should a man really want to be smart? Like,
I think that there's also just, it's just very subtly everywhere, kind of like, also, I think the majority of people kind of like portray very gender specific aspects, I guess, just because that's what they feel like they'll be most comfortable with. Like they feel like people won't make fun of them, or they just don't have the courage to stand out or be themselves. And I think a lot of that is influence maybe from like family or definitely society and media.
I think it started out with, I don't know, we're learning about this in history right now, and I think there's always been like a tendency, but I think it really got bad when like Christianity and Catholicism and like Jamestown, I think in the 1700s is when it got really bad, because there were so many expectations that a man has to do this, and purity I think was one of the killers, because a man wasn't expected to be pure, but a woman was, and all this is bullshit. But
So why do you think this continues to stick in people's minds?
money. I mean, money, and we feel the need to put, so on the top there's, oh, let's sell people products, and then below that there's, oh, let's fit into these products. So then it's basically, it's not a pyramid scheme, but it's like a big trickle-down effect of, okay, there's this one person that wants to sell you something, they're influencing you. Because they're influencing you, all these other people feel the need to influence you because they're influenced also, and it's just a big ugly circle.
Well, I think a big part of it has to do with the advertising companies, because if they can sell this sort of image, well, it does sell. That's been proven. So by keeping that image, it ensures that they're able to sell things, and just people don't do anything about it. They let it happen.
Do you ever think that this will change?
I think it could. I think it would be really hard, but I think that a good way to start would be to acknowledge the way advertising has had an effect on society. I think by acknowledging it first, then we'll be able to take steps to move away from that sort of society.
Because I think society likes to stick with the status quo. I think it's easier than trying new things.
Do you ever think that this will change?
Yes, I think it is already changing. It's great.
I think it's a societal pressure to be able to grow up, that human beings, as we were used to be younger way back in the day, 13 years old you were considered an adult, and that's why we have quinceañeras or whatever they called, and then also bar mitzvahs and all the other things when you're so much younger. Today, we're allowing children to grow and to grow into what they want to do.
Do you ever think that this will change?
Of course, we're always ever changing.
I think it just comes from the past. Like it's just like old thing. Like the girls, used to stay home and cook and like do all the womanly things and like help the men. And like it's just something that's out of date and has stuck around and affected like future generations.
Yeah, I think it has a very historical prevalence. Like we had men like growing up fast, going to war or whatever. Women, they couldn't do that. They couldn't go to war.
Stood around and waited for your man.
You were a homemaker, or you were like maybe in a factory making things for the men. So you have a starting point where it's woman doing something for the man, and I think it's still hard for us to get away from that. And I don't think really going to get away from that anytime soon. And also, it's like, you talk about like the pink stereotype, like girls like pink, boys like blue. I don't know. That's, I think, highly media based, and like little kid TV shows, like got the little girl dressed in pink, toy, yeah, just like what they're marketed to.
That's a good question. You know, I think sometimes people just, it's a culture thing, you just kind of get into a rut, and this is the way we've always done it, so we assume that that's the right way to do it. You know, when in other cultures things can be totally different, and, you know, they don't question how they are, just the same way we don't, a lot of people don't question the way things are here. I think when you, it's just scary to do different things and to kind of be different. Plus, if you change, people get really good, right, at doing certain things. So if you think like, okay, being a boy or being a male is part of who I am, and then someone says, well, no, it can be this other way. We're like, well, I'm used to playing by these rules, and I'm really good at these rules. So if you change it, I might not be as good at that, and I'm more comfortable with these things. I think slowly it is changing. Maybe that's just growing up in Portland and LA, where it feels like maybe it's a little bit more permissible to be different. But it seems like now, I mean, it's definitely room to grow. But it seems like even now, I still see, I see more of people being like, okay, like, oh, okay. You know, you want to do your own thing, man, or whatever. That's cool. You do you. That's great. More so than, you know, 15 or 20 years ago. But, and probably, I mean, I wasn't around 40 or 50 years ago, but I think it's probably better even than it was then. But I think it's just going to take a long time.
There's been a lot of just ideas that I don't even know who did that, who created those. They're like, there's just all these like ideas and like roles and things that have been created like a long ass time ago, and they just keep being reinforced, and like the media especially reinforces them because they want to sell things and make us feel bad, and so that we think that we need this or this or this to be good or be valid. I don't know how they were made, but they were made, and then I think they just keep being reinforced because like they keep people in boxes, and the people who are like trying to like sell us stuff and just like make us, like control us, just want us to stay in those boxes so that they can like, you know, keep us all. But it's just dumb because it's just limiting the whole entire world. Like if you just keep everybody in these places instead of letting them be whatever they want and like making them believe that they're good.
The ignorant and closed-minded people before them did that to them. I think that it is changing. I think that it's starting to change, but it's going to be a long, long road.
What would you have done differently if you hadn't had society's expectations put on you at such an early age?
I would probably still be with pigtails, like walking pigtails with weird little bows and like random clothes, which is still pretty much what I do, a lot more less. Like I'd have like rovers and like weird skirts and stuff.
Probably would have cut my hair off a lot sooner. Probably wouldn't have taken ballet when I was very young. Gosh, that's a tough question to answer. I don't know.
If I didn't have society's expectations on me, I definitely would have come out earlier.
I might have played soccer for once. That might have been fun. I think I could have done activities that I thought were not as I could have done any activities without fearing like, oh, look at the girls doing what the guys are doing. I could just choose an activity that I want to do just because, look, anyone's doing it.
If I wasn't worried about society's views of sexes, I guess I would be able to express myself more freely, and I wouldn't be more afraid. And I wouldn't be afraid to express what I like more.
I guess I would have spoken my mind more when I was younger. So in middle school, there was a lot of sexual harassment in my grade. And I just kind of went along with it, right? Like I'd have boys like I'd like be making a presentation and I'd have boys like saying something about my boobs or something, and I just was like, all right, do what you want. But I think if I hadn't had expectations or like the social norms that were just put on us all the time to just conform and be okay with what people are saying, I would have said something and be like, well, just stop. Like, you're an idiot. You don't need to say these things. So, yeah.
Ooh, a lot. I would have started acting sensitive earlier on. Very empathetic as a human being. You know, I think we all have the ability to be. But I didn't feel like I should be. You know, I felt like I needed to be like this, you know, hard knock. You know, and I don't know that I ever pulled that off super well, but I felt the need to be this like guy's guy. You know, and not necessarily. I felt like I like being social and all that stuff, but I felt the need to like not talk about my feelings and, you know, like not ask people what was wrong and be like, you know, crying, what's that? So I think earlier on I would have been less afraid to show my emotions and would have stuck with what I enjoyed to do, you know.
I think I would have been less afraid to fail at certain things and less afraid to speak up about other things.
You know, honestly, I can't say that I would have done anything differently, but to a certain extent that I suspect that society shapes us in ways we're not even aware of. So I don't know that, I'm sure that there's things I'd do differently. If I grew up in a different culture, I'd be a different person. But it's hard for me to identify those things specifically.
If I hadn't had society's expectations on me, it wouldn't have taken me so long to love myself, and I would have done a lot of more things that I really love earlier. Because like right now, I'm so good and I'm so fine and I do literally whatever I want. It's so awesome. But it's because I've had to work so hard to cut out all that poison in my head that's been like fed to me.
Have you ever put someone down for not doing what a girl should do or what a guy should do?
Probably. I don't remember a specific time, but I'm sure I have.
Do you regret it?
Yeah. It's dumb.
No, I mean, I think in my early years I have, because I was naive and I was unaware of that anyone can do whatever they want. But now, like, I don't do that kind of stuff. I believe that they can do whatever they want, and I don't really judge them for what they do. I realize it's something bad, but I mean, I guess that was just the 8-year-old version of me.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but I probably did, like, back before I knew any better. I feel like it makes them think that, like, it just makes them really insecure for the rest of their lives, like thinking, am I not woman enough just because I don't like pink or I don't like shopping? Like, am I not how I'm supposed to be?
Like, yeah, I have, like, cause like it's kind of like just like growing up, like middle school, you do a lot because that kind of stuff happens a lot in middle school. Like if someone's acting really weak, you're like, oh, you're, just you insult them or just things like that. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it hurt their feelings. I feel bad about it sometimes, I guess.
When I was younger, I was very insecure, and this is more probably elementary school than middle school and high school. I think I've gotten progressively better to the point where I don't do it anymore. But in elementary school especially, I was like, shit, I gotta like make other people know that I'm better than, But that's the way with elementary school, I guess.
So how do you think that made them feel?
Oh, terrible. Are you kidding me? People did it to me and I felt terrible. And so for some reason humans feel the need to do exactly what they hate back to other people, and it doesn't make sense. So I try to only spread love now, and yeah, I feel like it's a lot better way to live.
I feel like it's always possible. I feel like everyone can be guilty of that, even if they don't mean to be, especially when you're younger and you aren't really informed about it yet.
Just because it's something that's like forced into our heads when we're younger, we just do it without realizing it sometimes.
How do you think that made them feel?
Good, I don't know. I feel like
either not good or like they just didn't even like realize it was going on.
I don't remember a time right now, but I'm sure at some point I have.
How do you think that made them feel?
Terrible. It's awful. You shouldn't be judged for something that is natural for you.
yes, I have, but I've always done it, like, I haven't done it seriously, like, I've never really, like, bullied anyone for doing that, but I have joked about it, that is a form of bullying in a way, but I've stepped out of that.
How do you think it made that person feel?
I don't think not very good, I guess, but I don't do it to, like, people. I only do it, like, joking around with, like, my family, like, just, like, my cousins or friends and stuff, and we all taking it in a joking way, but I don't know if that's how they take it personally.
I hate to say it, but I probably have. I can't think of a specific time, but I'm sure that, you know, somebody has done something counter to what I think is appropriate for their gender, and then which sucks.
Probably. Like, I try not to, and I really I really try to be accepting to everyone, but I'm sure that I have before, like, had like a slip of the mouth or something. I think I'm a lot better now, though, because now that I've talked to people about gender roles and how different things are, like, I've learned, like, who I am and how I can accept other people and how important it is for me to be accepting and how everyone's just embracing themselves.
Do you now start to do what you want to do regardless of everyone else's views and expectations?
I'm getting better with that sort of thing. It's still hard because of anxieties and stuff in the society I'm in and because of my age, but it's gonna get better because I want it to, and also because of it's just what it comes with.
I have been trying to do that for a while now, so yes.
Yeah, I'll do whatever I want to.
I'm beginning to do what I like to more, but I think that although that I do have many things I want to do, society still has its views on people, and no matter what, a little bit of part of that's still going to affect me no matter how old I get.
Girl, I hope so. That's what I'm trying to get to.
I think I do now, more or less, but I feel like in the past, not necessarily. I mean, as I get a little bit older.
I think it's more just kind of like trying to break these things that we've been told, the walls that we've put up.
Right, just doing what you're happy because it makes you happy, not because of anything else or what other people think.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I've always been kind of that way. It's just, I've never really been, like, seriously pressured to do anything because I've always just been independent, careless about others most of the time.
I do my best. I mean, sometimes I struggle with it, like I'll get self-conscious and worry what people will think about me. But like, even today I went out of my way to wear this shirt because I know it's kind of crazy, but I love it. Like, it makes me happy, and I'm glad that I did, and I haven't gotten anything except for positivity about it.
Oh yeah. Spread love, joy, and cheer 24/7. 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm in a band that plays, you know, kind of 80s music, and so I wear tights and like tease my hair up and do whatever the hell that I want. You know, I'm not gonna act super this way or that way because it's not like the traditional. Like, my family, all my cousins down in Texas that are my age are like, dude, that's gay. Okay, oh no. So yeah, I think I do a lot more of what I want.
certain ways, yes, and in certain ways, no. I think I still have these mindsets stuck with me.
My sister keeps trying to get me to cut my hair, or like family members trying to get me to apply for certain types of jobs that pay well, and I was like, no, I like what I'm doing. One of the things that I do all the time is I'm going into the gym to get in shape, but like one of the things is that so many people go into the gym to get in shape to look good. And when they asked me, I was like, no, I want to do stuff on performance metrics. Like, I want to be fast. I want to be, strong. So it's like, shouldn't have to worry about my appearance for other people and like doing that for other people. I'm doing it for me.
Yes, I do. Lately it's been a little bit in my head because I've been in like kind of a weird place. So I've been kind of thinking more about what people think of me, but it's not, it used to be really bad though. Like I used to not do things based on like what people would think of me, but now I do whatever I want. Because you can't live to please anybody else. You have to be like exactly what you want, exactly what you want.
To me, that's a value that I want to have for myself and for my kids and like for my friends, is to be able to, like, you should never just go along with the crowd just because. Like, I don't think that's a good thing to do. And I really value, like, hey, if that's something important to you and you want to do it, like, you should do it. And so I think that's important, that everyone should kind of feel free to do that and kind of live their life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I already do try and focus on just what I want to do and what makes me happy, because I think that's what is important, and it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks if you're happy doing what you do.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely do what I want to do at this point. Like, if I want to get in an argument with another boy about gender roles, then I will. And hopefully I'll make some good points, or if I want to just it's.
So what do you like to do?
What do I like to do? Just in general, what do I enjoy? Well, I'm pretty career driven. I'm into my work. I like my work and what I do. I like outdoorsy kind of stuff. I do sort of like the typical guy things. I've never gotten into sports, but I'm into fishing and hiking and camping and that kind of stuff, shooting guns and that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm an anime freak, so I do a lot of that, but I like to draw and I like to make jewelry and just hang out with my friends.
Well, I love acting and drawing, and I do a lot of speech and debate, kind of performance in general, I'd say.
Well, ironically, one of the hobbies is cinematography, and I want to be in the media industry when I grow up.
I love to travel. I mean, and I really enjoy doing sports and like swimming and running and pole vaulting, and I also enjoy filming and making videos and that kind of stuff too. So
My passions include researching feminism and women's rights, and then my activities are ranting about it.
I like to play music and write music. So just music.
I prefer to wrestle with these two
Wrestling,
right here.
skating, ballet,
Rock collecting.
You do rock collecting.
I like a lot of things. I like music, art, writing, photography, like film, everything. I'm exploring.
Yeah, I like acting and writing and cheerleading.
I really love playing cards.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I love playing cards. I love swimming.
Me too.
And writing.
Not this much.
And hiking. Hike a lot. Backpacking.
I just like hanging out with my friends and family. Reading. Yeah, lots of things.
I like to be with my family. I like to watch sports. I like to go to new restaurants. And I like to just do things in Portland.
If it comes to like hobbies, I like photography. I like learning songs on the ukulele. I'm not that good, but it's fun. I like making videos. I like filming a lot. I like sleeping. When it comes to like mindfulness and myself, I just like to be happy in general. I tend to put a lot of sympathy towards others and put people before myself, which is sometimes a bad thing, but I still like care for others a lot, so I just like to spread my love and just be happy with people. So
I love playing sports. I'll play any sport for fun. I do sing. I love singing. I like reading. I love reading. And yeah, it's pretty much spending time with family.
I like to run. And, I don't know, listen to music.
I sing, and I'm in choir, and I play guitar, and I try to run. I don't do a very good job, but I used to do martial arts and stuff.
I'm a song and dance man. I enjoy singing, jumping around, sharing my joy and happiness with other people. I feel like is one of the best ways to spend my time. That's why I'm in a band. That's why I play music, and that's why I talk a lot. Try to spread that,
I like, oddly enough, I like a lot of like crafty stuff. Like I like to knit and embroider. I like to cook. I like riding my bike. I like fixing my bike. I work with plants a lot, so all that kind of thing.
I read, go on walks with my dog. We just had a baby, so a lot of baby time, a lot of trying to sleep. So that's a lot of it right now. Yeah.
I like to scream, and I like to make people laugh, and I like to dance, and I like to sing, and I like to talk. I love to talk, and I like to talk about, I like to listen to people. I like to listen to people when they're talking about what they're passionate about, and I just like to bond with people and connect with people and take care of people.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes.
Now that you have the chance to talk back to the media or to the audience watching this, do you have anything you would like to say?
I just think it's a fun thought experiment when you catch yourself thinking, oh, that's something a girl would do, or oh, that's something a boy would do. Like, just ask why. Why is that something a girl would do, or why is that something a boy would do, or why does it have to be that way? Just avoid generalizations. So, yeah.
Just stop putting all these things in our head, just trying to sell things and make us think all these things, because you're literally just putting so many people in boxes and limiting them so much, and it gets in your head and it's poisonous. It's actually poisonous, and you're actually killing people and putting people in danger by reinforcing these roles. It's really fucked up.
Well, first of all, I want to say to everyone that we're all humans and we're all in this together, and there's no one that's better or lesser than you. We're all on equal planes here, So just love your fellow neighbor and love random people. I think everyone just needs to accept that they're equal and love each other appropriately. And to the media that's selling us stuff, I prefer you stop. It's really not. Find a better way to make money that doesn't involve putting in small boys and girls' heads that they need to be a certain way, because it's, okay, cool. 1 or 2 people make $1 million off of it, and then everyone else suffers for years and years. So yeah, I think love yourself and do what you want.
I would say, well, I know that the media has to make money, but could you find another way instead of hurting other people? Thank you.
I don't know, just let kids be kids.
that people feel comfortable with who they are. You should always feel comfortable in the shoes that you're in, because if you don't, you'll never be able to live your life.
You should be able to let people be who they want to be who they are, and get less involved in people's business. Like, if you want to do something and you're not hurting anyone else, and that you feel like that's who you are, like, awesome, go do that.
I would like to tell girls to really strive to be who you want to be, regardless of what society tells you that you need to be.
Stop meddling. Stop telling me what I should be. I feel like so many advertisements are, you would be cool if only you did what we said. It's like, well, you're not cool because you don't have it, and you would be cool if you did have it. And it is very frustrating to watch that, you know, attempt at emotional control.
Treat everybody the same, regardless of their gender, regardless of the roles of genders that are, of the gender roles that are portrayed in society, and keep being you and don't let society change you or change society.
And people can like just do whatever they want. Like if you do you, honestly. It's kind of cliche, but whatever.